Welcome to our ILBF Q&A session on the student essay competition, which is kindly being hosted by Brown Rudnick. I'm going to give a brief introduction about myself and the ILBF, and then I'm going to hand over to our student judges who will talk a little bit about what they're doing and what they're looking for from entries. And then we'll pass it over to the floor for any questions that may arise following what we've talked about. So I'm Katrina Crossley, I'm the CEO of the ILBF and also one of the competition judges, and I'm very much looking forward to reading all the entries. For those of you who don't know yet, the work of the ILBF is to share legal resources around the world to support access to justice and the rule of law. And in the 15 years that we've been going, we've shipped 72,000 books to about more than 200 organisations in 54 countries. So the demand for books is very much alive and well, and we'll continue to work to supply books in the future. We work closely with a lot of UK universities and law students, and we're very mindful of opening up access to legal careers to a more diverse and representative group of future lawyers. And that's where the idea for the essay competition came from, really. And we're very fortunate that London law firm Brown Rudnick have offered the prize of a week's internship at their offices for the winner of the competition, plus £500 in expenses. And even if you don't win, engaging with the question will give you great insights that will help you with your applications and your thought processes particularly about legal technology, which is not going to go away anytime soon. And the question we want you to answer is, looking back from 2030, what should we do now to transform the legal profession, including the use of machine learning technology, to ensure access to justice for all, and that the profession is as diverse and as the communities and businesses it serves? So you can see from that essay question, there's a lot in there, a lot of different themes, but they're all connected. There are a host of resources out there to help you with the question, not least the comments made by Professor Richard Susskind at our event, our 15th anniversary event last week. So watch out for the film of the event and listen in to what he had to say about legal technology from his perspective. There'll be 2 more opportunities to check in with us between now and the submission date, which is the 28th of February. Tomorrow, actually, quite soon, 2nd of December, we're taking part in Legal Cheek's online law fair from 2 till 5, so you can check in with us again then if you want to ask questions. And on the 19th of January, LexisNexis is kindly hosting an online session about legal technology for us with legal technology experts. And we've taken the theme for that session from words that Professor Susskind used at the event last week when he asked the question addressed to the future lawyers of the future: do you want to compete with these emerging systems, or do you want to build them? And I think that's a great way to think about legal technology. You can either work against them or work with them, or even build them. So the submission process and the rules are set out on the ILBF's competition page at www.ilbf.org.uk. And if any questions you have not been answered today, you can email us at ilbfessay@gmail.com. That address is on the webpage if you didn't get a chance to write it down then. So that's enough from me, and I'm going to hand over now to our junior judges, our student judges, starting with perhaps Chiara, if you'd like to introduce yourself and talk about a bit about what you're looking for.
Yes, so my name is Chiara, and I graduated from Queen Mary University. I studied law as well in 2018, and I've been working as a paralegal since. I think the main thing that a university should really be focusing on is trying to get any experience, however that may come. So I think entering this competition is just a great way to do something that is additional to your normal university work, but might give you the opportunity of having either your essay published or having a first thinking about law outside the normal academic boundaries. Or perhaps if you are the winner and get a 1-week internship, it will enhance your CV for when you then go on to apply. So I think what we're really looking for is people that are willing to try. You don't have to be a successful essay, but just make an effort to attempt, and I think that will be great.
Thanks very much, Chiara, and handing over to James.
Hi, so yeah, I'm James. I'm also one of the student judges, as Katrina mentioned. I graduated from King's College London this year, actually, studying politics, philosophy, and law. But yeah, just a little bit about what I'm looking for in terms of the essay question. I think, well, some benefits of it is that there's a lot in there, as Katrina said, and there's a lot of topics. But yeah, make sure to hit each one even if it's not in equal amounts. But it's great to have great coverage of the question and really look into every word of it. Like there's access to justice, there's diversity in there, there's a whole load. So yeah, I think it's super informative question. And just to build on what Chiara said as well, it's a really good opportunity to get to grips with some really cool topics. And ILBF is, although a small charity, has some really recognizable partners, trustees and patrons, former Lord Chief Justice, loads of like we have Magic Circle firms, we have people from banks as well. So it's a really recognizable organization, and to be associated with that and to try out this new thing, I think it's a really valuable thing for any student. So yeah, would recommend. But yeah, get to grips with the question. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks very much, James. And Yasmin.
Hi, I'm Yasmin. I graduated from Lancaster University in 2019 with a degree in law. I'm currently a future trainee at Freshfields and a paralegal at Edmonds Marshall McMahon, which is a specialist private prosecution firm. In terms of the essay competition, I think a really good piece of advice is to really think about the structure of your essay. I think one of the best skills I learned in terms of essay writing was always having a really good structure that guides you and then hits all the points of the question. So I think it goes in with what James is saying, is to really dissect the language and think about the different aspects that the question wants you to think about. So here it's particularly hitting on diversity in the legal profession and also access to justice, and thinking about how we can link that to legal tech and how that will inform the legal profession going forward. So I think if you have a really solid structure, that's a really good way to really make sure that you're writing a successful essay. And I think I would encourage anyone that's thinking about doing it to go for it. The least that will happen is you might not get anywhere with it, but you'll definitely gain some essential skills with essay writing. So with that being said, I would encourage anyone to enter, and if you do, good luck.
Thanks very much, Yasmin. Now, I can open it up to the floor. So if there are any questions from anyone who's on the call, please fire away. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello. I just wanted to ask, are there any other resources that you would recommend reading to get a better understanding of, I guess, like the technology aspect and all of that? Because I haven't really covered any of that so far in my degree. I wasn't sure where to find that kind of information.
Thank you very much, Amelia. That's a great question. I would suggest a good starting point, actually, if you have access to it in your library, is Professor Susskind's books, because he's the law tech guru, really, to follow. But there are also many other resources you can find, particularly on the web. There's not an awful lot written about it in book form, but I'm sure you can find lots of resources if you do Google searching. But do join us on the 19th of January when we've got legal tech experts from LexisNexis, from a legal startup company called Legislate, and from Mind Foundry, which is a very interesting organisation based in Oxford who are looking at the ethical framework around AI and machine learning. So I think if you tune into our session on the 19th of January at between 5 and 6, you'll pick up some top tips. And I think it's also a good idea to talk to your lecturers and professors for their views on legal tech and what that means. Another suggestion is to look at law firms, because a lot of the big law firms have information on their websites about what they're doing in the area of legal technology. Either they're building systems themselves, or they're involved in the kind of cybercrime, technical law, where legal tech is very important. I think that's one area you can do. But I'll hand it over to Yasmin, James and Chiara if you've got any thoughts about other resources that might be useful for students to access to help them with the question.
Yeah, sure. I'll go just a few tips. Actually, I've just gone on Westlaw, which I'm sure is available to most law schools actually, or even most universities as long as you're a student. You type that in and there's a whole load of resources, not just from law firms, which, as Katrina mentioned, are really good. I think their thought leadership is like excellent. You have some professionals who've dedicated their whole lives to a certain topic, talking about it, which is really good. But also there's a load of publications as well, journals, and yeah, it's really easy to use. I think any lawyer's job also does involve Westlaw to some degree at the end of the day. So yeah, it's always good to start and get a grip of the website. But yeah, Westlaw, if that's the only thing I'd add. Yeah.
I think I'd add to that, just to be impartial, LexisNexis also offers lots of insights into legal tech. Westlaw and LexisNexis between them are really at the forefront of from a research point of view. But another thing I would say is, and this is echoed in Richard Susskind's words at the event last week, is that if you think forwards to 2030, we'll all be using technologies then that have not even been invented yet. So in a sense, you can use your imagination. Don't worry about what's in the works right now. Think outside the box in terms of what is the issue and what kind of technology could address that. I think that's what we're looking for, sort of using your imagination as much as anything else, and thinking about aspects of improving access to justice, improving diversity in the profession, and how could technology help that. It's slightly scary to think that we'll all be using technology in 9 years time that hasn't been invented yet, but it is the case. If you think back to 10 or 11 years ago, we're all using things now that weren't around at that point. So yes, to think outside the box, but also to access the resources that we've been talking about. I hope that's answered your question, Amelia. Is there anything you would like to add to that yourself?
No, thank you. That was a very comprehensive answer. Thank you.
That's our pleasure. Well, good luck. We're looking forward to your entry. And are there any other questions from anyone else that's joined us? I think possibly not. But thank you for joining us this evening, and we wish everybody who takes part the best of luck. And please do use the email address if you have any questions about the competition or the length or the rules or how to submit. We're all here to help because we're looking forward to reading your entries. So thank you very much and good night for now.